Gonna work this time. Great. Hi, good morning everybody. It's Erin here and it's another beautiful day. A little bit cooler, on the cooler side. There's a great breeze here, so super stoked about that, but it's still gonna be a hot one and I hope you are doing great. It's your Friday. If this is the end of your work week, awesome, great. You must be feeling pretty stoked, which is great. I know some of us work on the weekends, and especially if you own your own business, you just don't really know what a weekend is in general. But anyways, let's get right to these moves today. I figured today was a great day to work a little bit on our glutes, and just one to really help open up our posture and strengthen those back muscles, because again, end of the week, if you've been sitting a lot at your office chair, we can definitely always work on those back muscles to pull and stretching the chest. So for equipment today, I do have a band. You don't need a band. I'm just going to use these for one of the glute exercises. You don't need it, but if you happen to have one and would like to use it, then I'll show you what you can do with it. I have a water bottle here as my weight today, so if you grab something, it doesn't have to have a ton of weight to it. We're really just working on, again, activating, making a mind-muscle connection, and you can really still have a great workout, especially if you're doing this every hour throughout the day, or if you're doing this 8 to 10 times throughout your day. These moves, by the end of the day, you're really going to be feeling it through the back muscles. So, you know, you don't need anything crazy. So I just have a water bottle filled up with water, and let's get to it. Today I'm going to be using a step. You don't need it. You can also just do these flat on the floor, okay? It's just basically one move that I'm going to be using the step for. Okay, so first move, we're going to be lying on our backs, and if you can't get down to the floor, again, you can do this while you're on your bed, on a couch, lying down, so you don't have to get to the floor if that's an issue for you. All right, so I'm going to come on down to my mat here. I've got my feet up on the step. All right, so my heels are here. Hey, I'm maybe about a foot away from the stair, okay? And all I'm gonna do is get set up nice and comfy like. Hey, I'm gonna make sure because what we're doing is a glute bridge to start with. We're just elevating our feet, okay? Now, what I'm gonna do is press my heels into the stair, or feet into the stairs, okay, heels here. I'm going to press my upper back, so my shoulder blades, really press them into the mat. And then before we even get started, there's two things here. Pulling the belly button in and up towards the spine, all right? And as we do that, we're gonna tilt that pelvis under. As you're doing a glute bridge, oftentimes what you see is really people trying to arch through that low back and getting their hips really, really high. So we're coming up, we're going way up. And actually, by having our hips elevated a little bit here, we're able to maybe take the low back out of the equation just a little bit, okay? So what we don't want to do is trying to drive our hips way up to the sky. What you want to do is you want to think about keeping that movement from your sternum, all right, down, all right? So here, and so what happens is if we keep it down here, okay, I'm kind of isolating those glutes a little bit more than if I'm thinking about arching that low back, or arching that back and bringing my upper back off the floor. Okay, so as soon as you bring the movement from here up, you get into that low back a little bit more. All right, we want to focus in on the glutes today. That is our mission. All right, and then I'm gonna take my water bottle and I'm gonna place it between my knees. Okay, between my knees like this. This is where the challenge gets in. If this is too much for you, just do it without that. But the idea of squeezing this water bottle in between my knees is so I start working also those inner thighs and adductors, okay, and the glutes at the same time. It's beautiful. It's a win-win. So here we are. Hands are by your sides, flat on the ground. Okay, get that nice grip. So you really want to make sure that you can even grab a pillow to use in between your knees, but you have to think a little bit more about squeezing. So if you have something with a little bit of weight to it that's not going to obviously hurt you if it falls, then that one's going to help you to make that connection. It's a lot harder than it looks to continue that squeeze while your glutes are working. So here, we're just gonna lift. I'm gonna squeeze my bum cheeks together like I've got $1 million coin in between those bum cheeks and I don't wanna drop it. So squeezing, tilting the pelvis so the belly button is pulling in. I'm pressing my shoulders against the ground and I'm lifting from here up. So here, I get that good squeeze, squeezing. Okay, see how I'm not driving my hips way up? Nice and controlled. Squeeze at the top. As soon as the bum touches the ground, I'm coming back up again. So you're going to do 10 of those. All right. So there's a little bit longer explanation for that one, but I always find it a little bit necessary with, glute bridges. Okay, so this next one is we're going into a fire hydrant. We're going to work the glutes 2 exercises in a row. The reason I'm doing that is because the second exercise is working different parts of the glutes, okay? So that's all right. Let me move my coffee here. And my water, always get your water. Okay, now I'm gonna put the band on for this one. Okay. So this one's called a fire hydrant. I just have a light tension band. I'm gonna place it just above my knees. That's all you need. Okie dokes. And for this one, so you're going to be in a tabletop position. What I mean by tabletop, your wrists are directly under your shoulders, okay? And your knees are directly under your hips. Okay, I'm going to change the stance slightly here, but I'm going to show you traditionally, this is where you start. All right, you have your top of your foot back, the back top of your foot on the ground. I can't talk today. Well, let me just say I can't talk any day usually. So here we go. Right, we're gonna pull the belly button in, pull the shoulders down away from the ears so we're nice and supported. We're gonna press through the ground through our hands so that we're not collapsing through our upper back and shoulders. So now all of our weight is on our arms. We don't want to do that. So we want to press out, belly button tucked in. Now we're gonna take our weight and support it on that right knee. But what we don't want to do is rock way over to the side. So from here, I don't want to rock way over to the side and kind of open up to the side. I'll show you a proper way to do that. So traditionally, we're here and you're lifting that knee out to the side, keeping it at 90 degrees, lifting it. So what I see often is people trying to get really high with this one and opening through the hips. You end up really working the glutes on this side, but we're trying to focus in on that moving leg. So what I want you to do instead of staying up in this high tabletop position is I actually want you to bring one elbow down to the ground, okay? So I'm gonna be moving my left leg, so my opposite right hand is gonna be, my forearm is gonna be coming down to the ground like so. So my elbow now is directly under my shoulder, okay? I'm pressing my left hand into the floor, comfortable position here, okay? So we still wanna maintain the equal weight through the upper body. Belly button is still tucked in, knees are under the shoulders. So now what happens is we actually allow a slight opening through the hips so that we can focus in on the glutes a little bit more, okay? So I'm here, getting set up, all right? I'm gonna take the weight into my right knee, all right? Top of the foot flat on the floor, and we're gonna take the knee up, squeeze those glutes, and down. Okay, so up, we're working glute med, glute min with this one. Up, squeeze, and down. So this one really allows us to fire up through the glutes. We get a little bit bigger range of motion, especially if you have tight hips. So staying from this position versus this. Okay, if you have not a ton of range of motion through the hips, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get that leg up. You might only get to here. Okay, before you have to start kind of opening and cranking to the side. So you're gonna do 10 each side of those. All right, and then last but not least, we've got a nice supported row. So I wanna do an arrow row. I'm gonna do a single arm today because I only have my one water bottle. All right, you could also use a band if you have a band. I'll show you very quickly how to use the band here. I have to lift my camera up a little bit. Okie dokes, you can see me, yes. So here, what I want to do is have a bent over arrow row. So with those push-ups, if you remember, I was telling you we want to make an arrow shape with our upper body, right? So, or with our whole body, but upper body especially from here up. So this is an arrow shape position, right? Okay, so I'm coming back. This is the row. Oftentimes you're kind of that narrow row, and that's totally okay too. That's just not what we're doing today. All right, we want to come out, bring those elbows out to about a 45 degrees, okay? And you can have your feet together. This is a little bit more challenging. Taking a little bit of a wider stance with your feet helps you support. If you're having any low back issues, what I want you to remember is that you can always do this as a supported row. So I could take the row from here and just place one hand. This is a little bit low maybe, but you can take that hand. Okay, knees are bent, back is straight and flat, and I'm gonna take one arm, say, where's my weight? I'm gonna take the one arm out to that 45 degrees and back, okay? So that's if you're having any low back issues. If you're using a supported row, so you can use a chair, something maybe a little bit higher than what I'm using here. This is quite low, all right? But what you want to think about is that you don't want to lose that core activation. You don't want to collapse into that arm and put all the weight in that arm and just crank it out, okay? That's not what that supported row is about. You still want to maintain, your hips are square, shoulders are square, all right? So you maintain control and you're just bringing it up. Okay, make sure that booty's back a little bit. So with the non-supported row, we're just gonna do, again, single-sided, and this is going to allow you to, I'll tell you a funny story in a bit, but this is gonna allow you to work your core a little bit too, because we're off balance, okay? So here, see if I can stand in the light a little bit without getting spider webs on me. Okay, so I've got my feet about shoulder width apart. Okay, I'm set up, my belly button's pulling in, my back is flat, and I'm gonna start with my arms hanging straight down. Okay, and my one arm, I'm gonna come up at that 45 degrees, pulling back, squeezing my shoulder blade in towards the spine, okay, and back. So work one side. You can do 10 repetitions each side, nice and slow. Squeeze, and as you're bringing it up, especially if you don't have a heavier weight, as you're bringing that elbow up and back, really want you to focus on initiating that movement, not with the arm, but by squeezing that shoulder blade in towards the spine, okay? So from here, what you want to try and do here, okay, so back is flat, tummy's tucked in, shoulders are down away from the ears. I want to engage first here. So see that little like engagement? And then pull back. 10 each side, and you'll switch again on the other side. If you happen to have two weights, I still want you to do one at a time, but you can hold the other one, and you can always alternate. But to build a little bit more muscle endurance, stay on that one side. Sorry, the light's pretty bad today. We'll see. But, oh yeah, and I was gonna tell you a funny story. Not funny, actually kind of embarrassing, because I used to work in landscaping for a number of years, and I was not thinking yesterday. I tell you, I was not thinking yesterday. Totally not using my thinking brain. Hi, I can't see who's there. I hate the delay. Hello, who's ever's watching. I was just finishing up and telling you a funny, like not funny, haha, kind of a story. But yesterday, our grass is super long, and I got kind of frustrated, and oh, hola! Our grass is super long, and I got really frustrated, and we were planting some flowers and herbs and stuff, and I just decided to go grab the trimmer because I was waiting for, we have to go get gas for the lawnmower. So I decided, well, whatever, I'm gonna at least trim because it's driving me crazy. So I just ran out to the garage, grabbed the trimmer, not thinking. I was wearing flip-flops. I never landscape with flip-flops. I never mow the lawn with anything other than some work boots because I know, but yesterday I wasn't thinking. So I grabbed and I went to kick a dog toy out of the way, and I caught my foot in the weed whacker, in the trimmer. Thankfully, it was not going, like it was just kind of like half, but I wasn't paying attention to the arm that was holding the weed whacker, and I kicked and I kind of went too far, and I caught the trimmer, and so I cut up my foot. It's not that bad. It could have been a lot worse, but guys, okay, but it looked like I got scratched by a bear or something. Well, no, you know, if I got scratched by a bear, there would be blood everywhere, right? But I didn't. So, but I still had a little bit of blood. So, lesson here, don't do what Erin did and wear flip-flops when you are doing yard work with any kind of machine. Lawnmowers, weed whackers, all that sort of stuff. Okay, that's it. Learn from my mistakes, please. Okie dokes. So have an amazing day. I hope you enjoy your Friday. I hope you've got great plans for the weekend. But guess what? I am sticking with you every single day of the week. So stay tuned for tomorrow. I do have some boot camps tomorrow morning, but I'll get our moves in either before or just after, and we'll get going. So have an amazing day. Again, I'm on repeat, but I really do hope that you have a wonderful day, and take care. Yard work safely. Bye.